let's get started. Welcome. I am back. So, yep. Alright, let's get straight into it. I'm just gonna turn down my volume. There we go. So I can at least hear the music. Alright. What are we doing today? So I was able to work on a little bit of NearBeach whilst I was away. I've gotten some of the API done, which is nice. So if I do this, I go admin, I can log in. It failed with the 500 request. Why did it fail? Yes, I did some database changes and so forth like that. So we're just going to make my database again. That's easy done. So we're going to go Python 3, manage, and then migrate to create the database. That won't take too long. As you can see, it's already going through most of those very, very quickly. This is waiting a couple of seconds. Okay, cool, it's done. We're going to load in some data. So we've got manage, load data. We're going to go NearBeach fixtures. And we're just doing the basic sort of data thing. Easy done. If I go back here and I restart this, let's refresh this. All right, so admin should now work. There we go. The VueJS stuff, we haven't touched that for a while. That's not working, but we're going to fix that today. If we go to API version 1 and we go into project, oops, I've meant to put a / at the very end. I need to set up those settings so it automatically forwards to the /. So what I'm going to do, Django settings, automatically add at end of URL. I know that there's a setting for this, append /true. All right, so I want a NearBeach. I want local and then settings. Now I'm just going to double check I don't have append / already. I already do. When set to true, if the request URL does not match any of the patterns of the URL, doesn't end in a /, it will redirect. All right, cool. It'll cause any. All right, not a problem. Oh, sorry, big yawn. And Harsh, how are you? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome. So yeah, how am I doing? All things considered, actually okay. So yeah. We've got the project stuff done. As you can see, there's the results. We can get 2 of them in there perfectly fine. If we go A1 here, we've got all that ready. I've also done the unit tests. Well, some of the unit tests, not all of them. I've done the permission version of the unit tests. A little, yeah. Sorry, I'm not the best with names and so forth like that, so I do apologize. It does say that you have been here before, so yeah, welcome back. All right, we're in an ad break at the moment. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour because that's just to stop the pre-rolled ads on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, you don't get ads, so don't worry about it. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. So yeah, we've got about 45 seconds left of the ads. And I should set up my DSLR as a camera in the future. That might be one thing I sort of tackle. It won't be this month, we're almost finished this month. And yeah. Oh yeah, all good. All right, we're about 15 seconds left of the ads. So yeah, I do need to play catch up at the moment with NearBeach. And hey, good guy. So yeah, welcome. Welcome, Harash. I do hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. All right, so we've got the unit tests all done. Well, not all done, I should say. We've got the unit tests sort of done. We've got the permission side of things done. I haven't actually done the unit tests around actually testing functionality. We've only really just tested the permissions. I do know that there is one thing I do want to do and fix. Alright, so I have a utility and it's the check the group list. And the idea is run the query on the user group and select distinct username and group name. Count to make sure that the group length equals. I think that's a wrong business logic here. The idea here is we're dealing with permissions. If someone was making let's say a project or something like that, they're allowed to include external groups. With the idea, it's meant to be a collaborative sort of functionality. So this bit of business logic no longer makes any sense. But what we've got to do, deduplicate the group list. So that just deduplicates the group list, which is what we want. Essentially, this is just got to be greater than 0. Run the query on user groups and select the distinct by username and group. If the results are greater than 0, then user has permission. And that's it. So this little utility function is just used to determine if a user has access to those groups. We've made it very generic as possible, and yeah. So I'm gonna fix that. Now that has a connotation in which case I've then got to fix up a test case. So with the test API, what I've done is, I think with the team leader, with the create, that's update, I've only got group 2 in there. So now if I do 1 and 2, that should be perfectly fine. And same with this one. Like so. However, I need to actually test it when they don't have permissions to. So what I've got to do, I'm going to go into here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, cool. Yep, that'll be correct. Yep, that'll also be correct. With the team members, not members, members. There we go. So with the group list, we get a 403. With this one, we should get a created 201. Easy done. And then we should... Sucks, can you stop stepping on my mouse? That's team leader. Team leader will be the same. I'm just going to throw the admin tests in there too. But, oh. Yeah, that should hold up. Even if they're admin, the idea is if they're going to create a project or something like that, they will always have to be included in that group. All right, we just got to retest this. So it does take a little while to boot up. Oh, it failed and failed and failed. All right. We've got a couple of 400s instead of 403s. So that will be part of the utility itself. So what I got to do is I've got to go down to our utilities. API, check group. So this goes back and that returns a true or false. That should be fine. All right, let's make me do this the hard way. Groups are missing. All right. I'm going to change that. No access to groups provided. That way it makes it a little bit more sense. It is a forbidden thing. If a user were using this and they accidentally keyed in the wrong group number, it'll come back and be like, yeah, this is why. No access to groups provided. If we redo this, it should fix those tests now. Sorry, once again, this does take a little while. We've got 1F. All right. 201. In this case, the admin was able to create something. Let's go back to that utility. Oh, the admin user probably has access to it anyway. Right, give me a couple of seconds. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to jump over. Oops, that's their groups. We have not set this up for our permissions or anything like that. So what I want to do, data grip. Just going to move data grip all the way over here. What we want is NearBeach groups. I'm just going to click edit data just because we can. All right, I'm going to go empty group. I'm going to go number 3. I'm just going to close all these tests. I'm going to reopen them because I've opened them up in a weird order. What I want to do, NearBeach test API, test permissions. We've got the test admin, so let's create. Oh yeah, that's definitely a 201. That's a 201. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, 9. I should remember that. In this sort of case, what we want to do is we're going to go with a 3, and I think that's meant to be 403. For the admin. Let's test that very, very quickly. The idea being is no one has access to that group. There's no one in that group. It's an empty group. So no one can create things just for that group. They would have to include their group too. Yep, there. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this for the other tests too. So down here, this is a good one for testing. No logged in, definitely would be good for testing. Though with the no login, we really just need to test 1 or 2, not all of them. With the read only, yeah, once again, this should fail. We don't need to test every single case for that. For the team member, yeah, we do need that in for the team member. And that one too. And then we're just going to run this very, very quickly. We're going to see what actually happens. Perfect. All right. So I'm happy with all of that. Now, with unit tests for the project, all that's really left is just the functionality. So what I would potentially do is do it at the team member level or team leader level. It'll be simply creating, doing all the verification, making sure. And GB, how are you? Yeah, 3. It's been 2 weeks. I do apologize. Something came up and I wasn't able to stream for the last 2 weeks. So yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, just pure functionality. So just doing all the CRUD sort of stuff. I won't need to worry about permissions at that level if it's a team leader. We've tested those the CRUD permissions in the permission section. So it'll be like creating a project, updating a project, doing partial updates. Yeah, how have you been at least, GB? Hopefully you've been good. We also have to do deletes. Now, once again, we don't need to worry about the permissions around it because we're separated out the permissions and the functionality. We're being very distinct about those. You're okay? Oh, that's good to hear. So, yeah. Just working on projects, fair enough. Fair enough, I'm still working on NearBeach. I did get some done when I was away. Not a lot, though. So, yeah, just preoccupied with other stuff. Yeah, so that's all I need to do with the unit tests for the projects. The idea being is once I'm happy with these unit tests, they'll be sort of scaled and copied over for tasks, requests for change, and so forth like that. Once again, separating out the permission checks and the functionality checks, just to make my life a lot easier. Alright, so one thing which I kind of want to start doing soon is I need to get back into Welk. I need to start building up the front end again so we can start actually creating stuff again, like projects and so forth like that. So yeah, and then once that's done, we're still going to be doing the juggling thing. We're still going to be doing a bit of the API, a bit of Welk, a bit of NearBeach, a bit of documentation and so forth like that. That's another thing I've got to do, documentation of the API. I am going to be reading a bunch of other different documentation. The idea being is to get how they sort of communicate their design and sort of improve my ability to communicate NearBeach's design. So yeah, that will happen. All right, so let's fix up NearBeach, the front end stuff. So, as you see, it's failed to import the playground page and all that kind of stuff for NearBeach. Oh, first, before I do, git commit more unit tests. Now, if I remember, when I finally do push merge in NearBeach, I'm going to squash it. And if I remember to do that correctly, it's going to be one commit. And it's going to be massive too. Alright. Hirsch. Alright, let's give Sock some treats. She does love her treats. We'll go to the secret screen. She's going to be happy because she hasn't had many treats in a while. spill some treats in your bed. No, in your bed. In your bed. Good girl. Stay. There we go. Socks. We also have another cat in this room. He's a bit camera shy, but he's also getting treats. So you fed treats to 2 cats. There we go. I think I've nearly had socks for 11 years now. It's either March or April I got socks. Oh, aren't you going back into your bed? You just want to be over here. There we go, everyone can still see you. Are you gonna say thank you? She's like, no. All right, let's fix up this because we kind of want to start rebuilding up NearBeach again. So what I need to do, let's just minimize everything. Let's open up this. Let's open up this. I'm building stuff. I've got the npm run dev happening in the background. I don't know what the snapshots are. Oh, yeah, those. All right, those for testing. By the way, what gonna use for front end? Like VueJS. So the reason why is I just know VueJS a lot more than I know React, so I can build faster in it, and that's it. Nothing against React. I've used React before. I've used Angular. I want to learn Svelte. I'm not fast what frameworks I use. So yeah. All right, so we've got components. Now, a lot of these components we were pulling out of here and actually putting into Welk. The header component we're not. This says it can't find playground page, and that's on the router. Yeah, we removed the playground page. This might be one of those things where we... Yeah, all right, I have it like that. That's fine. That's the pages. That's fine. The router. We've got the login router. We've got the normal router. Yeah, we don't have the playground one. So I'm just going to get rid of it. This is with the log out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. I'm just going to remove those. Because now that I've got a backend, I can actually do stuff with it. Now, it can't deal with the card header. That's perfectly fine. We've moved that to Welk. So, what I need to do... That's been masked. So... Ooh, this might be in a bunch of spots. All right. Oh, dashboard page. I can't read. All right, components, dashboard. Dashboard page has the wrong card header and card component. What we need to do is we go import card header and card component from Welk UI. And then we just get rid of those. That's it, that's the fix. We go back in here, boom. All right, so we've now got this working. Kinda. What we've got to start doing the view, I think that's slightly, they're different in the sense that I've got a template and scripts are separated out like that, and it's been a while since I've used React, so There's small differences. That, and also I'm using scope styles. I don't know if React has that, but once again, I've used React before, but I haven't done anything large with it. More like building WordPress plugins, which were very simple WordPress plugins, let's not lie. So, yeah. Something you could knock out in a weekend. Oh, a new thing you're liking, octopus.com. Makes it easy delivering software to Kubernetes multi-cloud. Okay. Yeah, neat. Oh, I better not click play on that video just in case they've got copyrighted music, which reminds me of other. Sorry, I am lurking on someone's stream. I've got to make sure I mute them so they don't come through. They have an awesome free tier. All right, let's. Because I'm using CI/CD. Sorry, Circle CI for CI/CD stuff. And GitHub Actions too. But then again, what I'm doing is not complicated. Yeah, I'm not doing deployment strategies. I'm not doing that. Okay. Pricing. I'm just curious now. Oof. 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 All right. It certainly jumps from 0 to a number. Let's just say that. Ooh. All right, yeah, it halves it. But yeah. All right. I'm going to jump back into it because I want to get this all started. I'm going to start clearing a lot of these pages. And the reason being is I'm just having a look at this. I'm just going to get rid of this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in hello world John. It's as simple as that. That way, when I come in and redesign everything and so forth like that, I can really fine-tune everything. Now, there's a couple of other things I want to fix up on this design. Oh, wow, that still works. All right, cool. That is actually good news. Other things I want to do also is start putting in all of these pages. So when someone clicks on Kanban board or this plus, it takes the person to the right place. So I'm not programming it in later. That way, if I really wanted to, I could run this version somewhere else in parallel with my production version and make sure things work. It's risky, very, very risky, but could be potential. But anyway, I'm overthinking at the moment. Let's actually get everything fixed at here. So I'm just going to minimize components. Actually, no, not minimize components. Let's get the navbar working. That would be part of the nav. So nav component, all right, cool. We've got everything working in here. The nav component we didn't put in Welk because if I was building the other project and so forth like that, I would make my own nav component for that and so forth like that. So I was like, yeah, it's not worth doing something. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the height. Oh, that's part of that. But I also got to fix up here too. Now that actually might be part of the body CSS. If I click on the body, yeah. So when I hover over the body on the inspector elements, I know you guys can't actually see it. Notice that yellow around all of it. If I go margin 0 and padding 0, we get rid of that, which is what I want. Everything works really well here. All right. Now I'm zoomed in. This is what it'll look like on desktop, like that. All right, but I'm trying to get it so people can zoom in and all that kind of fun stuff. All right, so we won't go 250. We'll probably go 200. I think 200 is a good size. I generally do a CSS reset. I don't know what that is. Okay. Ah. Tell you what, I'm just going to copy that because it'll work perfectly fine. We have our styles. We have our... I'm wondering if I do that in the login too with the margins. Actually, I don't think I'd do that with the login. I think I was fine with the login. But we do have styles here. Now, I will need to go through this one day and probably change a few things in here. But what I could do is I could put it after the font face. I think that's a good place to put it. So what I mean by that is I do want to use Roboto and all that kind of stuff, but the font files are huge, absolutely huge. So I've got to find smaller font files that I actually like, that are open sourced. Because yeah, if we go over here, let's open up this. Let's bump that off to the left. I'm just going to go onto the network tab. We're just going to hit refresh. Now it says 2.54 megabytes. Now, all right. At the moment, that is probably because we're not compressing anything, so we get this massive script through and so forth. That if I actually jump onto the mockup where I've actually compiled it, so this is the mockup. If we look at the transferred or the size, you can see index.js. Yeah, all right, 155 kilobytes. Yep, that's perfectly fine. That's the JavaScript. But then you got font and font and font, and between these three, that's 400 kilobytes, and I'm kind of like, oh. If I had three under 100 kilobytes, yeah, it's a problem for another day. So all right. Oh, project's working. All right, cool. Oh, that's broken. Oh, all right. So I've got to fix that up. So I've got the margins. All right. I'm probably going to change this just to body then for the moment. There we go. Might be difficult if some are cached or bundled. Yeah. So it's something I've just got to research and look up and go, all right, cool, I'm happy with these fonts. They're about this size and so forth like that. The alternative is I just use system fonts. But it just means that NearBeach won't look, it'll look different from system to system. So yeah, which I can understand will annoy some people. So yeah. All right. So we're just gonna do that. So we've got the hello world here. We're fine with all of this at the moment. I will have to add in the profile stuff. Oh, sorry, I did not see the ad break. All right, sorry, we've got about 30 seconds left of the ads. Yeah, I didn't see them. So, and here comes Socks. Are you going to come over? Yes, there she is. Just jumped from the windowsill. So, yeah. All right, and welcome back, everyone. Cool. So, I want to start doing the project stuff and getting the project stuff working first. So if we click on projects, we've got search project. Now this just comes through with a bunch of defaults and so forth like that. What I want to do is I want to have a suspense state where it waits for the results to come back to fill out what projects there are. Same with the search projects also. I'm just trying to remember. I haven't keyed in any query strings, and I've just realized that for the search stuff, I haven't done any query strings. And what I mean by that is if I just duplicate this tab, let's go API version 1, let's go project like so. So we've got all projects here. And with a query string, what we could potentially do is add in a title. So let's say the search will equal Frank. At the moment, it does nothing. All right, because it doesn't know it's got to use Frank to do a search. So what I want to do, so I want to key that into the API, and I want to key it into the project directly. I think that's good functionality. So let's go NearBeach, views, API. We're going to go open up the project API. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to, not on the create, sorry, on the list. On the list, I'm just going to, we're just going to hit refresh. We're going to hit that breakpoint. Now, in the args and quags, we will have the following. Not going to let me hover over them. Args, looks like nothing. Quags, we've got user level 4. Okay. I'm just going to go into the permissions. I'm just going to also put a breakpoint there. And the reason being is I'm going to find out if we accidentally destroyed that breakpoint. Sorry, destroyed that query string. So I'm in the here. We've got nothing for quags. The args. It's not much. It's just the request itself. All right. Yep. I've just remembered I didn't put in a sick day. Sorry, give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to put this in before I get in trouble. I'll do a reminder to do it after work. Oh, I've got to also upgrade the database. Put in sick leave. All right, cool. Using my calendar to remind myself of everything. All right, so this is where I've just got to look this up. So Django REST framework query strings. So we've got the get query string. This view return purchase object equals user. What? Oh, that's filtering. All right, query string. Filtering against the URL. No. Get query string. We did. CS Aaron, welcome. I do hope you are having a good day. How are you? Oh, sorry, Kendall. Sorry, not Kendall. And also, hello, Kendall. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Kun, which stack are you using? So I'm using Django as the backend, with the Django REST framework as the API, and I'm using VueJS as the front end. So, yeah. And hey, Kendall, how are you going? Yes, well, I haven't been streaming for the last 2 weeks due to personal reasons, so, yeah. So I'm back at it now. I have missed it, but yeah, I just have not been able to. So, yeah. Query string. All right. Oh no, let's. Hang on. I think it's just going to be easy if I go query string. Or I'm just going to go back. Generic. Get query set. Workplace self request query parameters get. Okay. So I'll just use essentially that. Hang on. That's the object. That would be that. And then what I need to do is filter by search parameter in the query string. And then what we want is search or none. If we've got to go search. Yeah, we'll just do search. If search is not none, what we want to do, project results filter. What we want to do is, yes, we do want the queues in there. We want, yes, we do want the I contains. So we don't want to worry about if they're uppercase or lowercase. And just in case the ID equals search to, now I've got to import these queues. Like so. And another thing I could do. I don't think that will work. And something in my head saying that's not going to work. So let's just test it. Let's make sure I'm not paused up on anything. I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. That's fine. Let's go find this. Let's hit the breakpoint. So here we are. We're going to step forward. So it'll either get the parameters search or none. If it doesn't have the search parameters, cool. Does all of that, and yeah, it broke because of that. So I'm going to get rid of that. That's fine. Just wondering if Python has a trim start functionality. We're not going to worry about it. Yeah, that broke. That's fine. All right, we're just going to just hit play. Ooh. Oh, it's not name, it's title. Field ID inspected a number but got Frank. Yeah, no, that didn't work. No. That. I'm just gonna hit play. Field ID expected number but got Frank. Oh. I might need to. I might need to do this. I don't like it. Oop. And if I do an empty string, I'm just going to hit play. That is taking, and then all of that does that. And then if I hit a 2, it gets me nothing. All right. Because we should actually get something when we have a number in there. All right. I'm just having a quick think. What can I do? What we want to do is we don't want this to be limited to just the titles and so forth. That I like the ability to have it so users can type in an ID or something like that. And we know the ID one does exist. All right. I do want to test one thing. I want. QA. All right, QA is working. So the title is working. It's just ID. We need to get to work. All right. Just wondering one thing. Probably not going to work, but we're going to test it. Doesn't work. That's also not going to work. All right, that worked. I've got an idea. Search ID equals hang on, is digit. Oh, this is where I need ternary operations. Sorry, I'm not used to the operations in Python yet. So it's gonna be this. It always confuses me. Value if true, so that's gonna be int search. If is digit else, it's gonna be none. Alright, and then apply search filter, in which case this then will be search ID, and that way we don't have that many cascading nested lines of code. It's pretty simple. We've got a search functionality where it isn't none. We pass it through. We're going, all right, cool. Is it an ID? If it is, then we key it in like that. Otherwise, it'll be none. The none works down here perfectly fine. So if we go over into here and we type search for QA, expected a character, but string of length 2 found. Odd. I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. I want to see where this breaks actually. I don't know if it's at that one line. It's at that one line. All right. Oh, hang on, is numeric. Hang on. Oh, didn't want to do that. All right, I'm on 97. Give me a couple of seconds. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. We don't need that. Import. From string import is numeric. Nope. All right. Going back down to 97. All right, let's just check if string is number. For non-negative, unassigned integers only, use is digit. All right, is digit from keyword, import keyword. Oh, that's string identified. Nope, don't worry about that. str is digit. Should be like that, yeah. Let's have a look. Boom, all right. That's all I needed to do. I do need to bump that line down. And then if I go play, we get the QA. But if I type up here, let's say 1, it goes through. It is a 1 now. And I'll find everything with a 1 in it. Sweet. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's all good. Oh, spelling mistake. Sorry. All right, cool. So now I can get the front end to actually talk to the back end. So it can just send off to this particular here, and it'll get back the results. We will have pagination and all that kind of stuff. We can set up the pagination in here also. We might as well do that right away. Just because we'll probably end up only having like X amount on the page itself. We do need to know how many pages do come back. We do have a next and previous. We do actually have a count. All right, we can do that. I'm also thinking to test all the pagination stuff. We'll need to import my massive library, massive data set. Now, I might keep that particular fixture for the moment. However, I'm thinking of redoing it again. It won't take too long redoing it because all the text will be very generic and stuff like that. It's just that I want... I kind of want it to make more sense. Instead of having all that sort of random data, I kind of want to put in some more structured sort of data. So if people are looking at it as an example, they could be like, all right, this makes sense. It's going to take me forever to do though. It's going to be really annoying. I then have to test all my GDPR stuff with a new set, and that's fine. All right, we might as well get the search project started. So the ID here, it looks like it's 2 sets of cards. I'm going to close all of that. We're going to minimize this. We're going to open up NearBeach. We're going to open up the source. We're going to open up the components. We're going to open up the project. No, this will be part of the search page. Which is fine. just trying to remember how I want to actually tackle this, because I want a generic sort of search. And the idea is you actually search on the object. At the moment, NearBeach, you search every single object all at once. Been annoying. We will be re-implementing that later, probably after our release candidate releases and so forth like that. The idea being is you'll have a search bar up here and you can click on that and search via that. But that's later down the track. We're not going to worry about that. What we do want to worry about is having this so it's generic enough that when you go into tasks or something like that, we can find something. So the idea being is if you type in task up here, oops, not task information, sorry, that's my bad. That's the old way of doing things. So if you type in task, search tasks will appear here. We're going to check that genericness today too. So we've got the search filter, we've got the search results. We're going to go into the search filter. So we're going to deal with the search filter first. Now we've got search input. This is something Whelk doesn't have at the moment. So it has this little icon and all that kind of stuff. So it is very specific to NearBeach in itself. I'm going to keep it in NearBeach for the moment. If it's one of those things where I decide later on that no, this needs to actually go into Whelk, I'll do that. The one problem with it is it has an icon and we're not implementing any icons on at the Whelk level, but we could potentially have a smart way of actually allowing users to do that. At the moment, I'm going to keep it like this. Going to keep that. We've just got to make this generic. So we go into here. We're happy with the search input. We're going to keep that. Filtered out closed objects. Filter out external objects. We don't have those anywhere in here at the moment. We're going to keep those. No, we're not going to add those in. That's also another thing is with the query stuff. Filter out closed objects. Did you just meow? It's empty. Alright, so I'm just rattling in my brain at the moment. I just realized that I've got to add more stuff to the API filtering and so forth. Yeah, so the empty treat bag is on the floor and Zox is sitting right next to it at the moment. We're starting to think that when she finds them, she might pick them up and actually take them somewhere else and put them sneakily down near you and then start meowing and tapping on the treats. So, I'm doing a little experiment on my cat. I'm going to see if that actually happens. So I've put the treat bags in unconventional spots that she doesn't like to go to, and seeing, it should be like, all right, cool, I'll pick up this, I'll move it to somewhere where I like, and then I'll sit down and start meowing and patting it. All right, so with NearBeach and its search, we can have a include closed. So for example, include closed equals, let's say a 1 or something like that, where we would probably look at that and go, all right, cool, let's include it. I'm just having a look at the example, what sort of type casing they prefer to have. We'll go up here. Yeah, we've got, oh, that's title, action. They've only got one worded sort of things. Then there's color, query string, case, type. No, not case sensitive. I don't want case sensitive or anything like that. I just want, am I doing this in camel case, kebab case, or what type? Yep. All right, best practice for 2-word query string key. Let's find out. Join words with avoid. All right, cool. So underscores. Cool. All right, I'm happy with that. So we're just going to implement these. So we're going to get rid of that. We no longer need it. All right, so we've got that one at the moment. So I'm just trying to think of what I'm doing. Views, API, projects API. All right, down here, what we want to do is we want to have include closed equals request.query params.get include closed, otherwise none. If include closed is not true, we're trying to do a bit of a negative here. And I don't like it. I'm going to change this to show closed. That way it just becomes easier to read. It'll be like that. It'll be true. It'll be a string that comes through. And then what we want to do... If a show closed, we don't do anything. I think that's it, yeah. Hide all the closed. All right, cool. That will then be project results equals project results, where status so I'm just having a quick think about this. I'm just gonna jump over to here for a second. Give me... What I'm going to do, oops, not run server, sorry, shell, is I'm going to, from NearBeach, import, NearBeach.models, import everything. We're just going to go A equals this project, object, get pk equals 1. So we've got our projects, and then we can do our status. There's status of new. So if I go dot status under higher order status, so a dot status under project higher order status. All right, this is where I'm going to go back to the database. All right, so we've got NearBeach, we've got list of project statuses. So we've got a bunch in here, and we do have higher order status in here. I'm doing the double underscores where it's meant to be a dot. All right. So in here, it'll be status under higher order status. This will be part of the exclude section. So I want to do this last. This is happening last. All right. So project results equals project results, not filter, but exclude, where the status under higher order status equals closed. And that's pretty much it. Once again, this is functionality that we're going to actually have to test. So we'll write unit tests that test this exact functionality out, which should be simple to do. Yeah. So in here, we've got show closed. If show closed is not true, we're like, all right, hide all the closed. Come on. And then we just exclude them. Now, I don't know if that will work at the moment. But I think that will be fine. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. All right, so what do I want to do? I want to get this. I want to... The admin functionality. For the other one, we're also going to rename this too. This is going to be show closed. It's going to be false. That's fine. This is going to be show closed. I don't think Welk has a checkbox component just yet. Yeah, no, it doesn't yet. And I think I'm going to go through and rename all of those components to WLK. I think I've already started that. That way, you can distinguish what they are. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, checkboxes there. All right. Cool. There you go. Filter out closed projects. Actually, that's the wrong thing. Show closed projects. This will be called show closed objects, of course. Now that should actually be show closed objects. Don't think, yeah, I'm not using any classes on that, so not at the moment. Something I might do. Nah, not at the moment. I don't need an ID. Oh, no. No, I do need an ID, sorry. As for the class, yeah, that's perfectly fine here for the moment. We can tweak all of this up. I'm just wanting to get the functionality working. The good news is getting stuff to sort of work with this new framework will be a lot better. Now, instructions, yeah, that's fine. Use the filters below to refine your results. We need that to actually be something else. This is where we're going to have to get the router, get this from the router itself. So what I want to do, I want to actually close quite a number of these because I don't need them open anymore. We need VueJS router get params. We did this before. Wait, get back there. Great. If I go into source, I go into the router. I think I did this before. Long time ago though. So we've got the dashboard, we've got the /project, destination project, children, we've got search project, yep, that's fine. Search page, yep, search pro, yep, new. And then we've got the ID that passes through. All right, cool. The project page, yep, that's what we want. Okay, their socks. You're like running around like there's no tomorrow. You're like, ah. All right. And she's like, oh god, that part of the. Oh, I know I passed something down before. Like what the object was and so forth at that. Because project, task, Kanban board, all that stuff won't be using the dashboard anymore. They'll be using their own thing. I just need to... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. What I'm going to do need to import a few things into here on mounted. That just goes on mounted like that. We're just going to go console log where yeah, we're just going to do that for the moment. I'm just doing that. We do need to import the route into here. That's where I need to... Yeah, alright. We're just putting those in here for the moment. And then, yeah, it should be route.parameters. I'm just putting that in there just to see what we actually get. We are going to refresh the page. We've got nothing useful. All right, that one has a little bit more. Oh, we do have the named routes though. We also have programmatic navigation. Names, no, redirect, no. Passing props to route. Yep, that's fine. Define routes, path, component user, props true. I mean, it's... For routes with named views, you can have define the props option. Maybe that will work. Let's find out. So the dashboard, we don't need to send anything down. It's just with the projects a path named. And then I'm just gonna go props. they've got default true. And then we've got destination, and that's just going to be project. I just want to see if that will pass down. So if we go into search filters now, I'm going to get rid of all of what we did just before. Probably don't need it. All right, and then if I go props, in here, we're definitely going to need props to be used. So define props. In here, we've got destination. That's going to be type of string. Required. No, but default. We'll do default like that. And we'll see how this works. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go destination down here like this. So if the router, if this destination passed through into the props, that will be great. I just want to hit refresh. No, it didn't. And if we have a look at the console, we don't have any problems in the console. If we have a look at the view, we have the router view, anonymous component, base transaction, search page, attributes. Oh. Destination. All right. Huh. If I get rid of this, give me a couple of seconds. Let's just go back up. Passing props to the route components. All right, using $route, use route in your component, create a tight coupling with the route, which limits the flexibility of the component, so it can only be used on certain URLs. While this is not necessarily a bad thing, we decouple this behavior with props options. So let's return to our, yep, all right, cool. So that user, yep. With, yep, all right, cool. That's what we had before. We can remove the direct dependency on $route. In user view by declaring a prop instead. So they've just got it as a $string. I mean, we'll keep it like that for the moment. Then we can configure the route ID parameter by doing props true, which for us, this allows you to use the component anywhere, which makes the component easier to reuse and test. All right, cool. Boolean mode, when props is set to true, route params will be set as the component props. All right, named views, routes with named views, you can have define props option for each of the named view. Object mode. When props is an object, this will set the component props as is. Function mode. All right. Probably not what I want. I mean, the other thing is I could get rid of what object you're searching for. But that comes with user confusion, because they might click on something else without realizing it. They might click on tasks instead, and then they'll be really confused. There's no way to indicate to that user, hey, listen, you're actually searching tasks. So, yeah. Now I know I did this a while ago where I got the route and I just got the thing from the route. Alright, VueJS get parameter from the route. We want the get the route name. Yeah, we want the name to be still like that. Oh, meta! Alright, meta, there we go. Hold on. Get metadata. Route, create route, history route, meta, yep, that's what we want. Requires auth, title equals foo page. Then in here, page title, import, router is router, meta.title. Alright, cool, that's what we want. I've just realized I've just fixed that with the Mac shortcuts. Alright. So it was kinda almost getting where I needed. In the sense that I already set the meta up ages ago and forgot what I've done. So we've got the use router, we've got the computed. I don't think we need the computed. I'm going to remove the computer for the moment. Alright, that is define route. That might be one of those things that we just make disappear. Route.meta.title. Alright. In fact, it won't be title, it will be destination. Like that. And then if we go back to here, boom. There it is, search project. But what we're going to do is we're just going to put an S at the end, search projects. Alright, little sneaky trick in there. Yep, alright, cool. Use the filter below to define, redefine your results. What we want to do is, with the search input, now remember, a lot of these we're going to actually have to start implementing internationalization soon. So once we actually get this done, we're going to implement internationalization. There's going to be an extra layer of mess on top of that. So yeah, but not a problem. I just want to get this all working first, and then we can implement what we want. And remember, we're just doing this little tiny vertical slice at the moment, getting that perfect, because a lot of that will be copied and replicated elsewhere. So, for example, this, what am I trying to think of? This the search component will be used for tasks, Kanban boards, and so forth like that. Potentially users and so forth like that. So yeah, we're just going to make it as generic as possible. We're going to add on those internationalization features on top of that, make sure they're very generic, and then we've got to test the hell out of it. So yeah, just the hell out of it is going to take some time. So yeah. We've got about 25 seconds left of the ads. For those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we run ads on Twitch to stop the pre-rolled ads because the pre-rolled ads suck. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. So yeah, you also get to hear me ramble about stuff. So yeah. About 5 seconds, just more than 5 seconds, sorry. It's now 5 seconds. It's just said 10 seconds. I don't know why I said 5. But welcome back, everyone. Alright, so we've got that in there. We need to deal with the search import because we want to actually change the placeholder. And we're going to deal with the labels itself. The labels are fairly easy. Yeah, that's the label. Boom. Except I need to add in an S at the end again. So the search input, if we actually go to that implementation, that's actually going declaration and usage. We're pulling in an icon from somewhere else. Once again, this might be one of those things where we might use Welk. But edit Welk so you can pass through an icon component, which is going to be very, very dangerous. Or we bundle in icons, which I don't want to bundle in icons. I want Welk to be as dumb as possible so you don't have to use any icons you don't want to. Alright, so we've got the placeholder and all that kind of stuff. This is going to be very, very easy to do. This is define props. I don't think I need to do much in here. This is just going to be placeholder. It's going to be type of string. Required is going to be false. Default is going to be nothing. That's it. Oops, wrong symbol. There we go. So with the input, this is going to be type of search. We're just going to have a placeholder. We're all fine with that. We're just going to do that. Yep, search input, import. Yep. We're following our stock standard sort of stuff that we want to do. The placeholder itself, that's just going to be like boop, and then that's just going to be placeholder, like so. Then in the search filter, what we can do is we just go to the end and we go placeholder equals. I'm going to do something like this again. Now, we originally just had search. Yeah, search for that. Cool. Once again, we need the pluralization at the end of it. There we go. And then if I go hello, it will hopefully filter for hello and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm happy with this. Now, I'm having a think how I want to actually do all of this. And what I mean Give me a couple of seconds. Suspense. All right. Gonna do that so you guys can actually read. We're kind of solving, the suspense, what it's doing is solving a problem that we are going to be having. So in this sort of case, it will have this particular page. When the user first clicks onto this search page, it's got to download the search, essentially the JavaScript. It's got to download the search JavaScript page. And what we want to do is we want to actually have a sort of effect to show that it's loading something in. So the user doesn't see a blank screen or anything like that. That way, the user gets something. It's only going to be like a very small amount of kilobytes sent over before it then fetches the proper stuff. We also have to wait for the initial data to get the search results back. Now, that being said, I'm just wondering, because if someone has very, very slow internet and they jump onto this search has loaded up, but this hasn't down here, and they start searching for something, it's going to create a problem. Because that initial search will then pop in, but they're also going to request another search. So I've got to think how we want to actually have it so this will work if a user makes a request. Which reminds me, we're going to be very soon making sure NearBeach's backend is as async as possible. But it also gives us the ability to cancel requests, hopefully. So yeah, it'll be async. Wait expression will automatically make the components async dependencies. All right, so we'll have a fetch. But also, at the same time, we can just have functionality in here saying that it's searching. So if the user starts typing, it just hides everything. And things start getting searched for. I'm also wondering if the search gets to a point where it's just one page of elements, we no longer send off that search and we filter for that page results, and we just stick a location marker being like, when the thing is at this length, that's when it happened. But that's really complicated. We also don't want to send off every single type. So when a user types in the search projects, what we've done with NearBeach in the past is they'll start typing, and it isn't until they stop for half a second that it sort of requests the data. Now, if someone was an extremely slow typer and they're on terrible internet, yes, it will give them lots of results, and you can
potentially deal with a race condition there. But at that particular point, I don't know how to solve that. So yeah. All right. So when someone loads in here, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to see what I currently. Oh, I've got a 2-factor. Yeah, no, I can't be bothered logging in. Let's see if the demo is still up. Can't believe the demo actually loads in that fast. It doesn't tell. It's also the other thing is it doesn't tell the user that it's searching. Okay. So, I think I made up my mind. What's going to happen is I'm still going to include the suspense, but the suspense is just going to be to cover the search projects. It's going to be a little template to be like, actually, no, I don't think it is suspense in this sort of case. Give me 2 seconds. Oh no, yep, it's a fallback template. And it's just going to tell the user, hey, I'm booting up. Give me a second. Until I get everything. Alright. So I'm just having a good think at the moment. I think we can do that. So if we go here, I know we've done it elsewhere. Oh, sorry about that. I know we've done it elsewhere. We got the search page. All right, cool. Honestly, what will that loading do? We also have a little bit of animation when it crosses over. It's a fraction of a second. But I like it. Ooh, curtains are still open. Stay dirty and it's dark. Oh, yeah. Getting corded there. Alright. You haven't made up my mind yet. Because I don't want to make a bad decision and have to redo it again. It just happens so many times. Hence the massive refactor. Alright. So. Ooh, excuse me. I'm going to check one thing first. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bump that off to the left. I'm going to open up the network tab. I'm going to delete everything. I'm just going to hit reload. We've got the search results.view. So we've got the project, which is only going to be 884 bytes, which is extremely tiny. The
Client is big, yep, we understand that. The style, not so much. The main TS, not so much. This is going to be great. That's the polyfill. The Welk CS, that's not going to be big at the moment. That will get bigger in the future. Pinia JavaScript, the Pinia. Okay, so that's fairly big. You got the VueJS. Actually, it's going to be a lot easier if I go to the mock-up version, because this will be the compiled version. And if I go into project, you can see 9 kilobytes. I'm probably going to veto what I said. We're not going to actually include a suspense here. This is going to be really quick to load in. That being said, alright, for today, we're not going to include it. That being said, if I will include it for the project information section. The reason being is it might take a little longer to get that information, in which case, yes, you do want that up. Whereas this is just getting the search results. Essentially, we just pop this up. It doesn't matter if we don't have all the results yet. We can actually flag to the user that we're searching. In which case, I like that. I think that will be a good option. That way also I'm not having to worry about putting the suspense in and then realizing that, hey, I'm going to send back another template which is just going to have, you know, it's going to be bigger than 9 kilobytes or bigger than that. It's like, nah, that's tiny. This is actually really, really tiny. And then if we go into here, even that. Sorry, I'm just going to hit refresh. I'm just going to delete everything. I'm going to click back into search. Yeah, that's tiny. If I click it, all right. If I go back into search, sorry, I'm just curiosity at the moment. Go into new. 6 going to be 10 kilobytes. Yeah. Yeah, that's tiny. And Welk would have already been loaded in on the first initial load. I don't know. I don't know if suspense will be bad for SEO. However, I'm not aiming for SEO here. There's other tools and information that I use for SEO. So, for example, oh. No, I've mucked it up. What do I use? Yeah, I tend to use a lot of this other stuff. OG, not Twitter, OG title. Alright. Yep. But then again, also, for my marketing site, if you go to this, all this information is in the view page source. Yeah, I don't have... here I don't have any front-end stuff. But yeah, to answer your question, is suspense bad for SEO? I don't know. Alright, so I'm happy to say with these 2 sections of NearBeach, we won't need the suspense. They're too tiny to justify suspense. Now, that being said, we might test on super terrible internet, in which case we might flip that and be like, if we can get 2 kilobytes of them, but yeah, or send the suspense views within the initial load of the JavaScript or something like that, then we might consider it. But at the moment, I'm just going to go no. All right, let's go back into search for the projects. So what I want to do is let's get this stuff loaded up down here. Let's also deal with the search up here. Yeah, let's just get this all wired up to the API. All right, so now we're dealing with about three layers down to get to this search input. A lot of the times that will justify me using state. Yeah, pretty much. It'll justify using state. However, that being said, we got to do a little bit of work with that state management. And for those who are confused at what I'm talking about, so up here we've got our search, the high search functionality. Over here we've got the filter. Over here is the results. And then under the filter, we've got the input. All right, that's just going to be the root. Now, we've got to get the input stuff, essentially send it all the way upstream, and then we've got to send it all the way downstream, and everyone will then be happy, and yay. Not good. Not good at all. So what you do is you create state management, which is Pinia. If any results change into here, we send it up into here, and we'll be happy. All right. And then that actually gets shoved all the way over here. It's less steps that we're handling, essentially. So we're going to do that. Now, a lot of these components are going to be very, very dumb. They're just rendering stuff out. And they're like, I like rendering. I think the input, the search input, will be handling contacting the API. And the reason being is I don't need to move that information from there anywhere else. That, and also I can do it on mount. Which means when we load in and mount this component, it will just search for it. It also means it clears out that input every single time you move away from it. So we don't, let's say you jump onto task, you type in a search parameter, and you're like, oh no, I was meant to do it on project. You click on project. Did we really want that? Or you, let's say, sorry, let's rephrase this, because yeah, in that case, you do kind of want that. That would be cool functionality. Let's say you're on task, search for a task, you go, all right, cool. You click into the task and you do whatever you need in the task, and then you go to project. You don't want those, that search input to still be there. And the reason being is, it's going to be a new search. So yeah, I think having everything down at the input level is going to be good. Which means we're going to have to open up the Pinia documentation again, because it's new to me. I've used VueJS in the past, however, for the refactor, we're getting rid of VueJS, we're using Pinia. So yeah.
All right. We don't need to know about any of that. We need to define a store. Oh, no, don't play. Thank you. And you're on mute, so that's good. I think, do we have any stores already? We might have for the mock-up, but I don't think we did. Oh, we do. Oh, we have the nav store. So that's the nav. We're going to create a new folder called search. We're going to be like, all right, cool. We're going to create two files in there. We're going to go search.ts. Easy done. We're just going to add that in. We're also going to go search.spec.ts. I'm going to add that in. The spec.ts, that's for the unit testing and so forth like that, making sure things are working how we want them to. Yeah, don't worry about that at the moment. Now, I'm just double checking that's how we're still calling it. Yeah, .spec. Yeah. Yeah, if we have a look at the nav spec, we've got in here what we do and so forth like that. All right, and Ken Dale King 1. All right, cool. I will stand for 30 minutes, which will most likely be for the rest of the stream, followed by me also standing up at work tomorrow because I forget to put this thing down. Oh, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. All right. I am going to put this way. This thing needs a bit of a wash. Let's just say that there's a couple of stains on here. Just from cats and dirt and, you know. Should find out if I can wash it. So, yeah. Got to get the blood flowing. Yep, fair enough. I'm no longer on my wooden stool, so I'm actually on a metal chair now. So yeah, I definitely do need to get the blood flowing. All right, we're not going to worry about the spec just yet. We are going to bring that over there. I'm just going to reference it. Is this NearBeach you're building? I just checked. Yes, yeah. So 031 is being supported still. That's the old version. It looks a bit crummy. Well, it's poorly designed because I can't design. So it looks like this. Oops, did that on the wrong site. And I do use NearBeach to build NearBeach. I can log in to show you. But yeah, this is what it currently looks like. We're refactoring it to make it a lot better and easier for everyone to use. There's been a bunch of things which I don't like in it, which we're fixing up. So yeah, it's going to be huge, hopefully less than 7 months ordeal. So yeah. What IDE am I using? I'm using PyCharm. Because NearBeach is open sourced, I actually get it for free. That's just me just saying that, so that way you're like, oh, he gets it for free. Yeah. So yeah, I use PyCharm. Yeah. However, I'm not fussed whatever IDEs people use. Yeah, I don't care. Alright, search. So, I want to start stores.search.ts. I kind of want to get into the habit of doing that. Oh, am I in another ad break? Holy hell, the last half an hour went quick. Alright. Looks like the ZUIYs. I don't know that. You know, I built from the ground up.
Ew. Okay. I'm just looking at the what you just sent. Yeah. Well, fair enough. All right, and also fair enough to you, Miss Meowies. Give me your socks. Come on. No, I'm just gonna pick you up. All right. Say hi to chat. Near Giro. I haven't actually explained what I'm doing at the moment. We've got an ad break on Twitch. I tend to do this during the ad break so no one misses out on any content. Don't worry. You don't get ads. I don't get any ads on YouTube, so yeah. I'm testing it at the memory usage is good. Oh, cool. That's good. Yeah. Oh, and we are back. Yeah. I do want to try and get into NearVim and stuff like that. A lot of... Now, I haven't had this rant yet on this stream, but sometimes when I'm keying stuff out, the autocomplete is just a mess. So one day I'll probably end up using NearVim. I do kind of want to learn. Alright, that and also my laptop's starting to struggle and stuff like that. So it's getting to that point where I'm like, oh... Yeah. Anyway, let's start creating our store first. So we're going to define the store from Pinyar. We're just going to export const useNav store equals define store. The store's going to be search. And the options, we're going to have a state. I'm cheating because what I did for the nav bar is on the other side. The other thing why I want to use NearVim is, and I don't know if you guys caught that, Socks loves to jump on the mouse and on my keyboard. And if I can just get rid of the mouse from my interactions, she won't interrupt me as much. It won't matter if she jumps on the mouse. I can hide the mouse somewhere. So, yes. Then it'd just be the keyboard. And I can just pick that up and move it away from her like I always have to do. She loves sitting on my mouse. So in this sort of case, the fields that we want to search, and I want to map this to definitions that we've already put into here. So we've already got the search filter. We've got the show closed, and we'll have the search in here. So we've got the did we name it? The show closed, not search closed. So show closed. That's going to be false by default. Easy done. We don't want to show that. And then we're going to also go search. Maybe something like that. I'm tossing up whether to actually have it as search text or something silly like that. But I'm probably going to go no. I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it very, very simple. We'll just have it as search. And then, so that will be the state. And then the actions. We'll also need search results. Just don't need for bugs in the code. She's also putting them in there. Actually, no. Actions would be changing the data. And this is where I'm just going to double check everything. So we've got state. So that's the state of those things, which I will be happy with. I'm going to put search results. And I will need to define those search results later. Because we are trying to use TypeScript in here and trying to give everyone hints with how the data is going to be structured and all that kind of stuff to help pretty much developers. All right, so we've got the state. We're all happy with that. Yeah, it's going to be something like that with the, yeah. With the getters. This is where I haven't done a getter before. Oh, yeah, that's easy. That will just be state. And then search results. Oh, state.search results, sorry. I don't need to wrap that? No, I don't. That's it. Alright. Now, the one thing which I think I don't need here is search. I don't think I need the text itself because that will be on that component level. So I'm just going to get rid of it. We've got search results. We've got show closed. And howdy, Carl. How are you going? Everything going well? I'm just tossing up a few ideas in my head. What I could do is, for the search input, I could have the model passed down, and then I don't need to worry about passing it up because it's all in VueJS inbuilt, and then do all this stuff here, in which case I can then deal with the show closed. I'm kind of liking that idea. Yeah, alright, I like that idea, in which case this gets simple. This just becomes like that. And then the actions should be, yeah, actions, increment. That's business logic type of stuff. Is there something we do with setting the state? Because that's... Yeah, once again, that's an action. Oh, but it is passing, it is modifying the data. Ooh, all right. Yeah, all right. In Vuex, we had getters, setters, something else, and all those other things. This is a little bit different, so I'm just tossing up whether or not this is how we're meant to actually do it, where we pass through the data like that. Preference null, the actions, async. Author equals that. There's the increment. Yeah. There was in VueJS we had a difference between something with business logic and just something setting the state. So the setters were setting the state, and I'm just wondering if this has a similar thing, but I don't think so. I think we just use actions are the equivalent of method in components. They can be defined with the actions property in defined store, and they are perfect to define business logic. All right, cool. I think that's all we got to do. Accessing the state, yep. Resetting the state. All right. Uses option API. Modifiable state. If you want to be able to write to the state to these state properties, e.g., if you have a form, you can use. All right. Mutating the state. All right. Apart from directly mutating the store with store.da, you can call the patch method. It allows you to apply multiple changes at the same time with the partial state object. All right. So that's patch. So store.patch. Okay. So in this sort of case, we probably don't need an action. However, I'm just trying to think also. We'll have our results. We'll have our count and next and previous. So we'll have all of this data, and I'm thinking that, yeah, we should have that in here. Now, I'm going to change this to results. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to be explicit that this is for the search results. We're going to have counts. We're going to have... Oh, I don't know the previous or next. I have not padded this data out yet, so I mean I could quickly go in and make clone all the data and all that kind of stuff very, very quickly. That won't take too long to do. Just a couple of SQL commands. So I'm just having a good think. All right, for the next and previous, I'm just trying to remember what they're going to be. Actually, I should know. Demo.NearBeach. Actually, I'm going to do this on production. Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, I've got to log into my own production. However, I have customer details on there that I don't want to share. I'm going to have to just... I've got to start doing that database upgrade soon. Oh, God. Authenticator. Show me. All right, so stop doing that. You're getting way too close to the mouse. So API version 0, projects, or project I had it as. So do Kanban board 2, and then Kanban card. Oh, I didn't paginate that. All right. Oh, that's annoying. I didn't paginate anything. Damn it. Task. All right, cool. Sorry, I don't know what these are going to be. I don't know if they're ints or not. My assumption is that they are. Hang on, we actually had that up here as yep, that's fine. Search results. We'll set everything up in a minute properly. Because just trying to remember now that the API will be generic, so all the fields will be generic and stuff like that. We can do that. So yeah, we'll create an interface. We might as well quickly see what the interface will be like. So it'll be just like this. So if I just copy that. Didn't like me to copy it. So raw data. Results. I'm just going to copy all of that. I know that there's going to be 2 of them in there. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to go JSON pretty. I didn't like that, so I'm just going to select all of that. I'm just going to paste that in because all I need to do is just copy this, which is what I want. I'm just going to paste this down here like that. Perfect. I am going to do the user interface down here. I'm just going to do something like that. This will actually be the object info interface. Easy done. Then we've just got to go description. It's going to be a string. ID is going to be a number. Title is going to be a string. End date is going to be a date, however it comes through as that, but don't worry. Start date is going to be a date. Organization. Oh, this is where I've got to create interfaces with interfaces and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to skip the interface stuff for the moment. Not because it's in the too hard basket, it's in more of the I just want to get the API connected up to the front end basket. Alright, so get search results, that will do that. We've got the get search results, we've got the next and so forth like that. What we can actually do is we can go get previous. Let's get rid of count. I don't think I need the count.
Yeah, I don't think I need the count. Famous last words, I'll probably have to put it back in, but that's perfectly fine. Get previous, that's just going to be state, and that's going to be state dot previous. And then we'll have get next, and that will be state and state dot next. Like so, all of that should just line up perfectly fine. Element OP QRS. And they should actually be capitalized letters now, like so. Alright, so I'm happy with that. If we're going to use the patch stuff, mutate in the state, apart from directly mutating the store with store.counter++, you can also call by the patch method. It allows you to apply multiple changes at the same time with a partial state object, which is what we're going to want. So I don't think we're going to need actions at the moment. If there was something that is sort of business logic-y where I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to put this inside the inside the store, I will. There's plenty of cases where we want business logic in the store. All right. So we've got the search letter, we've got all of that. I'm happy with that at the moment. I'm going to set up the, we will need the on-mounted in here, but we don't need it at the moment. So I'm just going to get rid of it. What we do need is we need them define models. So we've got the route, define models. Actually, no, sorry, this is a ref. Define model will go down further. They'll actually be down in here. So in here, what we want to do, we want to import define model. That will be from Vue. We're happy with that. So define props. Oh, hang on. No, we are using props. Ignore me. That was a stupid thing. Define model. So we're going to go... Alright, so we've got the model like that. And what we want to do is... we just got vModel equals that. And then, in the search filter, what we want to do... so we want to key it through like that. So from here, what's actually happening is when we key in something down, it'll send it up. It'll actually modify this up here. Yes. All right, give me a couple of seconds. What I want to do is... I'm just trying to rattle in my brain a few things. We've got the use route in here. That's going to be perfect. Great. We've got the route, and then we've got the description and all that kind of fun stuff. We just need a couple of functions for the search. We also don't want to constantly search. So if someone's typing in one letter at a time, you don't, let's say they type in 10 characters, we don't want to do 10 searches. What we want to do is we want to start a little timer every single time they hit the button? Well, it checks to see if that little timer is there. If it is there, it overrides that timer and puts in the new timer. But if it isn't there, it starts a new timer, and then after that timer expires, that's when it searches. And then once it gets the search results, it will then store the search results in the store, and Bob's your uncle. Now, we can also set in the store whether or not we're the state of the search functionality and stuff like that, which is more information we can pass to the other component, which we don't have access to. We have to send that up and then back down, whereas the store just sends it to the store and then it magically appears in that component. So, let's do this. Let's do that. So I'm going to have a function called start timer, and it's going to be timer.value equals set timeout, or hold on, this JavaScript set timeout reset timer. All right, there's a way to do this. Yeah, we've got to clear the timeout first. All right, so clear any previous timeout. So if timer.value does not equal 0, clear timeout timer.value. Set timer. That's having a problem. There, it's because I had one too many equals. So this will be timer.value equals set timer. It will do a function and it'll be 500 milliseconds. Easy done. Add code. We'll add that in a minute. So that's the start timer functionality. The other function that we got to do. Now we can't have it search. We're going to have to search. Get search results. And we'll just add in code here for the moment, and that's perfectly fine right now. We don't need to worry about that. But in here, what we need to do is get search results, and I'm happy with that. That's neat, clean, easy. It's pretty much done. So now there's a couple of things which we can do on here. Is from here we can add in an on sort of thing. Beyond. We can do that. Instead of applying a watch on the model, which is also another viable option, which you can do. You can apply a watch on the model. We'll just... this is... Actually, no, it's going to be a watch on the model. Because the key down, then up to... Yeah, it could... Alright, not a problem. We do actually have a little bit of an ad break at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put socks on there. And I will be right back. I just need a drink of water and then we'll continue.
going back. Sorry about that. That took a little longer than I expected. I realize I haven't eaten since lunchtime and I'm getting a little hungry. Alright, welcome back everyone. I also grabbed myself some cheese and some cheese dip. And I realized that I have no bickies to put it on. Don't judge me. Alright, so we're going to keep you focusing on socks. Because you guys don't need to see me eat cheese. Alright, so we got the timer. We need to actually implement a watch functionality. Now, the reason why we do the watch functionality is with the key down and the key up, there's sometimes race conditions where it won't get the latest result. And then I got to do complicated next tick stuff and this and that. I'm like, watch is going to solve this. All right. So we need to import watch from Vue. I'll do this so you guys can see. We've got a couple of that, and then yeah, it's just watch, and then we've got this, and yeah. As simple as that. Ah. Done. So we're going to watch search. And we're going to pass the value through. Much like here, we just do all of this. And we're kind of happy with it and so forth like that. However, not every single time we need to implement the search. We don't need to implement the timer every single time. So, we only implement the timer if the value length is either 0 or greater than 3. I'm going to say greater than 2. Greater or equal to 3, just so that looks a lot nicer. So what we're going to do is if the... Actually, no, it doesn't matter. I'm overthinking this. Because we've got the timeout, we've got all this. I don't need to know how many... of this we need. I'm going to say we'll get rid of the watch. Sorry, I'm overthinking stuff. Sometimes doing the simplest thing is the best thing for code. So we've got the search input. We're going to go v on key down. All right. We're going to start that timer. And then once that timer is done, it's going to get the search results. And then we can check with the search results. And by that stage, everything would have, you know, finished doing its processes and so forth like that. So, search length will need to be either 0 or greater than 3. All right. Oh, unless it's a number. Or a number. So, we got condition 1 equals search.value.length equals 0. All right. We can put both of those conditions into that one condition in there. All right, give me 2 seconds. Condition 1, search length is 0 or greater than 3. All right, we can do this. Greater than 3. All right, cool. And then const condition 2. Search is actually a number. And I think it's math. Math dot is no. Hang on, I gotta look this up. JavaScript is number. Is numeric. Oh, hold on. No, there's a better way. All right, cool. So those are the 2 conditions, in which case we then apply a search, because you don't want someone keying in, let's say, the letter A and getting every single result. That's not what we want. All right. If it fails both of those, this is where we've got to do the search. So I'm just thinking how I want to do the Boolean logic here. In one case, it'll be if condition 1 or condition 2, which is perfectly fine. But then I get this sort of nested add code here, whereas I could just return straight away and be like, none of these worked. So I could rewrite this to do failed conditions. Alright, I just got to note that in the conditions. So failed conditions, we just escape. So const fail con1 equals where the search.value.length does not equal 0, and the search.value.length is less than 3. In which case, I then get rid of that. I simplify this as a fail condition. And then const fail condition 2 is where the is not a number. pass int search.value. If falcon1 or nothing to search, we just return. So yeah, sometimes it's best to sit down and think about your Boolean conditions and all that kind of stuff before you go ahead, just because you can make the code look a little bit nicer, a little bit more readable. So now, if it fails one of those conditions, the fail condition. So, for example, if we have fail condition 2 is false, that just means that the search.value is a number. So they might be searching for, let's say, the ID of 12, or 18, or 24, or 99, or something like that, where it doesn't quite meet the length one, but it is a number and we do want to search for it. So yeah, we flip those and we're happy with all of that. So now we can search. This is where I need to look up how I'm getting Axios. All right. Yeah, that's how I'm doing Axios nowadays. All right. So up here at the top, what I got to do is I've got to import type from Axios. All right, cool. Because yeah, it complains about stuff. Import type, and that will be Axios instance from Axios. That's perfectly fine. We do the, let's do the injection after this. So const API client Axios instance or undefined, where we've got the API client. So yeah, easy done. And then down here, yeah, it'll be API client. All right, cool. We've got to set up the query string. So query string, that is going to be, let's say question mark, and we're going to go search equals, and then we do that, and then we go and. This is where we've got to turn a true false, so a boolean, into plain text. So this is where I am going to do some trickery. But first, let's go search.value in here. Perfect. And what was that was show closed. And we just do something like that. That's just a simple trick. I think we're still within the number of characters I allow. And then what we want to do is fetch data. So we want to go here. We want to go API client dot. Now this is a get. And in the get itself, we're going to go API version 1. We then got to deal with this here, the route meta destination. Like so. We do the // and then we key in the query string. So that's why I've done the query string at the top. So I just separated that out. We can even put the URL up there and or the path up there. That's not too much of a problem. But I feel like that's perfectly fine. That's readable. All right. We then have a then. So we get a response from the back end, and then what we want to do is we want to patch that response into the store itself. So now I know what it's going to be. This is it. This is what we're getting. In fact, I'm going to put that back on. Nope, I didn't mean to say that. I'm going to put that on Jason. Now in here, yeah, we want to do that. So we've got the define route, define store, got that. We have to import it. Give me a couple of seconds. Just remind myself how I actually do this. All right. I'm gonna put that over there. Oh, hey, Patty. So I want to go import, use nav store, not nav store. Sorry, use like so, and I'm just going to go to the search.ts. That's meant to be use search store. All right. There you go. Always make a mistake. And I tell you what I'm going to do. Sometimes it's easier just to do this. There, like that. All right, and then down here, what we're going to do is we're going to go const store equals use that. All right, cool. You know, I did see Patty in here before. He's probably just walked in here and just walked back out. All right, hopefully he has. All right. So from here, we've got the store. We've got to handle this store down here. This off. This is where we just go with the patch again. We're just going to go whoop, straight to the patch. So it's just going to be like this. So we're just going to paste that in. Hey, Max. Oh, I'm just really screwing up there. So, oh my god, what's happening? I had the cap locks on. Ugh. Actually, no, we need to do a catch. Yeah, at the moment we're going to do a console log error. I am going to handle these properly. Prior, what we've done is we had Toast pop up with errors telling the user something went wrong, which is fine. I've got to toss up whether or not I still want to do that. So yeah. Sorry, I'm eating cheese again. So we got previous, next, and search results in here. So going over here. We'll have that. Previous, next, response.data.next, and then search results. Don't know why it had data results like that in twice. That's pretty much it. Now, if we go up to the top again, we are going to go on mounted. All right, and on mounted, we're actually going to just get the search results. That's it. So when it boots up, it's like, all right, I'm going to run this. I'm going to get the results for you straight away. This should now have a... it's got a problem. Aww. Alright. So I am going to hit reload. We're going to put this off to the left. We're going to hit this. We're going to see if it hit the API. Nah. Alright. Okay, what I'm going to do, console log, we're just going to go mounted. We're also going to go console log, failed, the failed. Oh. No, we need a third fail condition. Sorry, const fail con 3 equals search dot value and search dot value dot length is greater than that. All right, cool. I think that's it. All right, so let's just refresh this. We didn't get any API ones. All right, not a problem. We've got mounted, we've got failed to get mount, we've got all of this, so I'm just gonna go console dot log, query string, yep, and then we're just going to do all of that. We're going to hit the console. We are going to hit refresh. So it says it's done that, and then nothing else. And then did we get data? Got data. Just going to do that. All right. Bit annoying. So it's getting the query string. There's the query string. Search equals nothing. And show equals close. Yeah, that's how we kind of want it to work. We're not getting any errors. And we're not hitting that. Now I'm just wondering if I get rid of that question mark. API client is undefined. So I've mucked up somewhere. All right. All right, we got the inject. Is get not a command? Yeah, get's a command. Thank you very much. API client. Let's go bumping over here. Let's just refresh. Undefined. What if I just type something in? Let's do still nothing. Why does it hate me? All right. Let's have a look at what we've done in the past. I'm just gonna do the screen like this. So up the top, we've got the inject, we've got the ref, we've got the unmounted. That's the only difference, but that shouldn't happen. We've got the Axios instance, where we're keying that through. We know that the login works. Hold on. We've done this for the login. We haven't actually probably done it for the, yeah, we probably haven't done it for our main application yet. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go into our login text. And you can see it here, Axios instance. We've got all of that. We've got all of that. I probably haven't done that for our app yet. There we go. And we've just hit the ad break again. All right, cool. I finished eating my cheese. No one needed to see that. Yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. This will be our last ad break. Because yeah, I'll wrap up around about 10 o'clock. Because once I get the API connected in, getting that to render out the other stuff is going to be pretty easy to do. This is a for loop with with the structure that we've already got there. Other things that we might implement over time is implementing a loading state. So when someone's searching or something like that, we just tell everyone, listen, we're just searching. And we just have like something coming across the screen being like searching or something simple. I'll figure out how to do that properly. I'm thinking just plain text and a bit of text color animation or something like that. I don't know. The thing is, I've got to be able to translate that message. So yeah, we are going to implement internationalization into NearBeach, and we're going to do it at the start. So we figure out all the complexities at the start, and then we can have it so it goes out. And then if we're also going to structure it so if people want to have their own languages and so forth like that, we'll structure it so you just copy the base JSON file, create it in your own language, and fill it out how you need to. So yeah. I'm doing review and lint tasks, and of course debug mode for the win. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, we'll get this login stuff in right now. So it's pretty much just this Axios instance over into this main stuff. So I think that's going to belong up at the top. The Pinera stuff we want to keep. The app, yep, that's perfectly fine. And then we've got to, configure app. We're going to go app.provide. We'll go API client and then Axios instance like that. So we're happy with that. Yeah, cool. Now I do need to import Axios into here. That's just me copying that and just pasting that into there like that. And we're happy. So everything populates now. We actually get data. That's freaking awesome. Let's see if we can get failed to failed. I did it. It searched the data. I'm just going to get something I can actually find. So QA team. Boom. All right, that was super simple. Let's get rid of the console logs. Let's actually close this now that we don't need that. Let's bring that back halfway. So I'm happy with this. For the moment, spec will be empty, but that's perfectly fine. I don't know how we're going to test that spec. So, the next test I want to do is we're going to go to view. We're going to click on this little pinata, little pineapple and be like, oh, so cute. We're going to go to search and we're going to open up the search results, and there they are. Perfect. And if I get rid of this, boom, there's the other search result in here. That's actually really cool and fast too. I like how the API is just that fast at the moment. But then again, this is my local. When we actually put this on a production server and stuff like that, it'll be interesting to see how it runs. So if I go QA team, that took 13 milliseconds. Oh, nice. Not too bad. All right. And then if I clicked on that, oh yeah, we've got a, that's got to be instant, that one. All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm actually having a think in my head. Being like, if someone were to click on this before the timer finished up, we're gonna have to clear up the timer anyway. So that way we don't send 2 requests off. We're leaving that console error in for the moment. I do need to type in a simple to-do, put in method to handle the errors. All right, I spelled that wrong. All right, I put capital. Oh. All right, cool. Stop with the capitals. Cool. All right, do I have any more console logs? We only got it for the error, and that's perfectly fine for the moment. Only for the moment. We are going to do something proper later. So in here, we've got all this. It's when the user clicks on this checkbox, we want to do something. So we want to not get the search results. We don't want to start the timer. We want to now I'm keeping this generic as possible. because if I do re-implement the other checkbox for administrators, what I want to do is I want to have it generic as possible, because it doesn't matter. They're clicking on that, we're going to get their results straight away. Oh, they've moved on onto there. All right, cool. Let's do whatever. We've got Ripper. Is he working on something tonight? All right, yeah, I think he is. All right. And the coding guy, how are you? Yeah, NearBeach is going well. We're just hooking up the API to the new Vue stuff. So the API for projects has started. I've got to write still some more unit tests and so forth like that, and got to test out all the partial updates. Yeah, and then I'll do a little bit of the front end to connect it all up. And then once I get all of that done, a lot of that will be copy and paste for the task. So literally copy and just do find and replace. So that will be great. Yeah. I think this search is coming along really well. And the good thing about this particular search here is this is generic enough that for me to put it in with the task search, I can do that not tonight, and that will be at the router level, and that should work perfectly fine. All right, now what I want to do is I want to go into components, I want to go into the search, I want to go search results, and we've got search results in here. Now we've got search header, and then you'll notice that all these search cards are coming through and so forth like that. That's not what we want. We're going to get rid of those. It is going to be a for statement. In fact, we can get rid of most of those at the moment. I've got to go back to Pinia. I've got to do the getters. Got to figure out how, actually, no, I think there was something in state, accessing the state. Yeah, we've got that. User, store, return, user list, that. All right, store, user store, count dot plus plus. So that will mutate it, but is that it? Is that all I'm doing? Am I accessing the store like that? Once again, I'm used to Vuex where you couldn't mutate Vuex straight away. You actually had to do setters or actions. Yeah, this is new to me. So I'll probably want map state. If you're not using all right, cool. The following examples you can assume that the store was created. All right, cool. Using the options, no. So it's just as simple as that. Well, we'll find out in a second. So in here, what we want to do is we want to import those stores and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm just going to put the search input on over here because we've got everything set up. No. Got the search filter. That's the one. I'm just going to put it over here. What we're going to do is we're going to open up this, and then we're going to go import use route, not route, sorry. Use search store. All right, cool. import use search store, easy done, and then we're just gonna go define stores, const store equals, that will be use search store. We're happy with that. It's gonna be perfectly fine. And then, I've done this on the wrong thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Search results. Done. So we've got the store in here. And then in here, what we need is a v4 equals, it is not a var, it is item in, and then we'll go store dot search results. Oh, it's not complaining. It's definitely not complaining. So higher order status would then be item. We need to go, the key will equal the item.id. We're happy with that. Ooh. This is probably where I need to use TypeScript to actually tell. Yeah, this is where I probably need the TypeScript types to sort of certainly go down here and be like, all right, this is going to be of this type. That way my IDE doesn't freak out a lot. I go, that doesn't exist, but it does. All right. Higher order status, and this is also where I'm going to go over here and actually double check everything. So the results will equal the result. So for each one of these, we've got ID. Higher order status would be item.status dot, and then that will be higher order status dot value. That is not in that case. Like that. The ID will be item.id. The object type, this is where we've got to use the router. So yeah, this is where we've got to import the route sort of stuff. So that will be import use route from view route. We then want to define route up here. This will be const route equals use route. So we're all happy with that. That will be route.meta.destination. The status will be item.status. And this is where we look at that and go status again. This will then be item.title. We're seeing a lot of red in here. All right, we're going to need a computed in that sort of case. So what we want to do is we're going to go import computed from view is done. That will be long down here. Define computed. What will the destination be? So that will be the route. Return route dot meta dot destination, or it will be object. Yay! All right, cool. And I just keyed it in like that. piss. All right, give me 2 secs. Sorry, I'm just gonna have a look at the search card. The object type required string validator boolean. Yeah, this is going to throw up issues. 1, 2, 3. We're just going to get rid of that. All right. The reason why I'm getting rid of it is because I can't validate the variable. The destination should be fine. Yeah. Object type. I don't know why that's still there. Type that is not assignable string. All right, I'm forcing that into a string. Easy done. I don't know if that will work. Let's find out. Oh, it worked. New status new. That's perfectly fine. What if we do QA team? Boom. All right. What if we do only admin? Boom. Look at that. Now, we're not doing this tonight, but I'm very happy with how this has turned out. I need to actually implement a state in there. So if it's in a certain state, we are only going to show a loading screen, a loading sort of thing. So if we want to loading data, example. For example, we could do a spinner, or I could tell the user what's going to happen. I could do something like this, where nothing happens. Make a cool spinner thing. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm all ears for it. I've just got to figure out what we can actually do in this sort of space. I'm thinking of people who are having terrible internet. So the refactor is actually trying to squeeze as many kilobytes out of NearBeach. Hence, we're getting rid of Tiny Mouse and stuff like that. So yeah, the idea here is if someone searches for something, we've got to tell them, hey, we're actually searching for something. And yeah, I could do a little spinny thing on top of these, and then just have a minimum height for the results. That way, yeah, I think that might work. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I might just keep it simple. Simple spinny thing with a opacity background. Have this set so that it has a minimum height. So when a person goes to the search page and they get their 8 kilobytes of search projects, it will work. All right. Now, one other thing which I did state earlier tonight is I can get this to work very, very quickly for the other objects. We're actually going to do that right now. So I'm going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up this. We're going to go into the source. We're going to go into the router. We're going to go into the router itself. So we've got the dashboard, we've got the new project, we've got not found, we've got project, and we've got search page. So we're going to implement search page for pretty much everything now. So with the Kanban board, what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to go search page. Search Kanban board, that's perfectly fine. I don't need these props up here anymore. That was a thing I was doing before. We've got the meta descriptions. This will be search page for the requirement. That's pretty much it at the moment. If we go back into here, now I've just also remembered we need to do organization and customers and stuff like that. That will be I'm going to do that somewhere over here. But if I click on requirements, it's going to get requirements. As you can see, it actually got the No, I'll just change that. This actually might be... $404. Alright, don't worry. At $404, because I have not set up the API yet. That's why. But if I change the route, I actually do want it to do a research. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here very, very quickly. We're actually going to implement that because yeah, that is a bug, or would be a bug if I deployed it. So yeah, if I go in here, no. Add to snooze for 5 minutes. Yeah. If I go into here very, very quickly, I go components, I go search, I go, not the search page, but with the search filter. Oh, we never did the checkbox. Sorry, I got distracted. With the checkbox, what we've got to do is reset timer. Oh, stop timer. In which case, I could do something like this. It's the same code. Okay, same code to just stop the timer. We're happy with that. Get search result. That's it. All right, so I'll fix that. Now, if the store changes, we want to get search results straight away. And we want to clear out everything. All right. Give me 2 seconds. That will be part of the watch. Actually, I'm gonna research this. Give me 2 seconds. View, watch, route.
metadata. Alright, watch, how to watch, this is my code, alright, cool. And we need the deep operation, alright, cool. Watch, route. No, that's not what we want. That's kind of what we want. All right. All right, so we've got the watch. I've got to bring in the watch. All right, so we've got that. We've got mount, and then we've got destination. I don't need to worry about any of the new or old titles whatsoever. What I need to do is I've got to go search.value equals nothing. So clear search. We also need to stop timer. Clear search and then search, research. Get session results. That should be it. Should be that simple. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll find out in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to projects. I'm going to just refresh the page because we made some changes. I'm just going to type in QA team and then I'm going to hit requirement. Boom. All right, cool. Now, one thing it didn't actually do is it didn't clear out the previous results. We can quickly do that. So if I go back into here, clear search and results. So that should be store.search results now equals nothing. We're like, that's how we did it down here, did we? I'm going to... We'll test it. So we're going to go into here and then require bang. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. All right, let's raid someone. So yeah, all right. I'm getting happy how this is sort of shaping up. I'm hopefully going to play around with it again tomorrow. I do realize that we need to actually implement a few things on Welk before we can actually go ahead and do the new projects, which is our next sort of thing. Once we got the new projects done, we'll then do the project information page, in which case I then need to do more of the Welk stuff. So yeah, otherwise this is coming along really, really well. I am behind target. 2 weeks, yeah, I had to take off. I'm hoping to catch up. Let's just say that. Yeah, anyway, let's raid on through. Thank you very much, everyone. And for those on YouTube, sadly you won't be able to raid with us, but don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help, and I hope to see you next